Yes, people, French Guna back again. Yo, people, French Guna back again with another video for you. This time we're going to be talking about Jose Mourinho. There's reports going around that he said he wants to replace Unai Emery as the next manager of Arsenal Football Club. Also, yeah, check out over there. You got the little French Guna logo. We're trying out, upping the levels a little bit. Obviously, more to come. You feel me? But yeah, talking about Jose Mourinho, like he's the odds-on favorite right now to replace Unai Emery. The bookies have him as favorite, and he's actually come out himself and said that he wants to. Well, I don't believe he's come out himself and said it, but I think it's been kind of it's a bit of a rumor that's going around, and I think he may have said it behind closed doors type of thing. We're hearing that Jose Mourinho has said that he wants to replace Unai Emery. That is a real story that is out there. So I just wanted to give a few arguments for and against. First of all, thank you everyone who's watching live and on playback as well. Make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe as well. Obviously helps the channel out in a big way. Let me know what you guys think. Would you want to see Jose Mourinho come in as Arsenal manager? I'm just going to do a little video where I talk about the points for and against. So first of all, Jose Mourinho is a good communicator. He's quite a charismatic guy. Despite the problems that he often has at clubs, when he goes and talks in press conferences, you know what he's saying. And not only you know what he's saying literally, oftentimes you can also read between the lines when he's trying to get something across, when he's trying to complain about the board without complaining about the board. He's really good at doing that. He's a fantastic communicator, and that's a huge problem with Unai Emery. A lot of the fans have been saying, and even players, young players have been saying, they don't know what he's actually trying to say. This is a huge problem for fans in press conferences because we don't know. For example, we don't understand the situation with Ozil. We don't understand why Granit Xhaka is captain. We don't understand why we've got no identity. And anytime these questions are asked to Unai Emery, there seems to be a bit of a language barrier. He reuses a lot of the same words. He talks a lot about competitiveness and imposing our way. And there's just a lot of things that you can tell he's just not got a mastery of the language. And he's just not a very charismatic guy either, unfortunately. I wanted to see him as charismatic with the good evening and that. Like, we like that, but really and truly, he hasn't got charisma. And he's not a good communicator. And if we, the fans, feel that, and the young players are coming out and saying it, what does that mean for when we're trying to motivate the players at half time, or we're trying to, explain tactics to them, when you're trying to give responsibilities and roles to players out on the field if they don't actually understand what the manager wants of them? So that's something that Jose's got over Unai straight away. He's a good communicator and he's a very charismatic figure. Obviously, Arsene Wenger was very charismatic, and we're missing that a little bit in the press conferences. We don't have that charisma. Second point is he's very defensive-minded. He would finally be able to sort out our horrendous defence. Defence that has been poor since the early 2000s, if we're honest. It's not been there for a while. And that was what Unai Emery was tasked with coming in and changing, and completely unable to do that, unfortunately. Our defence is horrendous as ever. In fact, arguably it's worse, exemplified by that match last night. 5-5 against a Liverpool team who didn't really create many chances against us. They just scored goals out of nothing because we fell asleep. Ridiculous. Jose Mourinho would change that. One thing that that Mourinho can do is defend. He can defend a 1-0 lead for 90 minutes. He is a tough tactical manager in terms of his tactics might not be new age, but certainly he drills his teams to play a certain way. And with a Jose Mourinho team, you never think to yourself, what are they trying to do, really? Maybe a couple of times with United near the end of their career, but we've seen what United are like without Jose, and it's not any better. So you can say that's not really down to him. Third point, Jose Mourinho is a proven winner. He has won silverware pretty much everywhere that he's gone. Maybe, in fact, everywhere. Correct me if I'm mistaken. I believe he's won silverware pretty much everywhere that he's gone as a manager. And he actually wants to be the first manager to win silverware with 3 different clubs in England, and that would be an incredible record. And would love for you to do it at Arsenal. Win us a Europa League this season. We'll take that. We'll happily take that, and then next season we see. Proven winner attitude. He knows what it takes to win a league. He knows what it takes to win a Champions League. He knows what it takes to be the best, to be at the top. And that's a mentality that we don't have in our club at the moment. You can see that Emery is a kind of a small club mentality. You know, he doesn't really know what it's like to be at a top club and just win and win and win. He was at PSG, but even then he didn't win in his first season. I mean, what must that be like to your confidence as a manager? It will be like going to Celtic and losing the league. You know what I'm saying? Going to the Scottish League with Celtic and losing the league in your first season. People will look at you like, how did you manage that? So clearly Unai Emery doesn't have that. Jose Mourinho does, and he can instill that on the players. You hope that he would be able to instill a bit more of that kind of winning attitude onto some of these players who really need it. He's also quite tactically astute. Like, he's been commenting quite a lot on Arsenal and talking about the kind of problems that we have, and he seems to be paying close attention to us. Which brings me on to the fourth point, the kind of players that he can bring in. He can attract superstars. That's what he's known for. Jose Mourinho gets the big names and then wins. That's just what he does. So he would be capable of bringing the kind of top talent to Arsenal that we could really do with. Say, you know, I'll just throw names off the top of my head. Say maybe a Koulibaly, you know, players of that kind of ilk, top level elite European players, probably don't want to play for Unai Emery. Realistically, you know, they don't. Whereas Jose Mourinho, that becomes a little bit more interesting. You can believe that, yeah, we're going to win with Jose Mourinho at the helm. So he can attract superstars. And on that note, he can also work with Mesut Ozil. Everyone said the best Ozil we've seen was at Real Madrid. Well, Jose Mourinho was there a lot of the time, managing him, putting an arm around him when necessary, and also having a go at him when necessary. He spoke about that in his biography. He spoke about how Ozil was one of the players who you needed to put an arm around the most. And so he knows how to do that. He knows how to motivate Ozil. So now let me give some points against Jose. This is probably going to be a little bit easier. Again, let me know what you guys think. Hit a like, all of that, comment. Let me know what you think on Jose Mourinho being manager of Arsenal Football Club. So first point is he's accused of being a toxic manager. He often leaves clubs in a really kind of topsy-turvy, in a disarray. He leaves clubs in a fiasco. He leaves clubs in this situation where, you know, there's kind of toxicity between the fans and the players and the staff. Does that sound familiar at all? I think we've already got that. And I think we had that when Wenger left. And you wouldn't really say Wenger's a toxic manager, but, you know, that's the situation we're in already. So maybe Jose comes in, makes it worse. Who knows? Obviously, on the flip side to that now, you could say Jose loves that underdog mentality. He loves it when it's us against the world. He loves it when everyone's trying to have a go at him. That's when Jose Mourinho often shines. But second point against him now, he has disrespected Arsene Wenger, and he's disrespected the club previously. We all remember the specialist in failure comments. There are a few little things that he said over the years. And would that be, you know, the kind of classy Arsenal that we know and love? Would Arsenal go and hire someone who's actually disrespected us in the past? Well, maybe that's the element of class that we have, that we're not petty enough to hold on to that. Or maybe that would be a sign of selling a bit of your identity. Who knows? You know, that's arguably the way. Negative football, accused of parking the bus against Newcastle with Manchester United at home. A lot of people say his football is too negative. You know, what I would say to combat that is we want a style. We want a style of football. The problem about Unai Emery's negativity is it's not even consistent. It's not preventing us from conceding goals. Like, he might be negative, but we're still conceding goals, and it's just not working. We don't really know what we're doing. Now, you could say Mourinho at Manchester United at the end of his career was a similar situation. I would rebuttal that by saying, look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's also parking the bus. And he's doing even less well than Jose Mourinho. So maybe with that team, that's the only way they could get points. And the final point against Jose is, could he stunt youth growth? We've got an incredible team of young players, budding talents here. People like Martinelli, Saka, people like Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, Joe Willock, Maitland-Niles. I mean, you could name an 11 pretty much. Rob Holding. You could almost name an 11 of top young players that we've got coming through. Although Holding didn't show it last night, he does have the quality there. and possibly bringing in a Jose Mourinho who prefers older names, who prefers big names. That could maybe block pathways for our youth development. A lot of people would have been saying bringing in Jose when we're on the cusp of this kind of development would be one of the biggest mistakes we can make as an Arsenal Football Club. You know, Martinelli looks like, if you know, you don't want to say too much too early, but if he keeps on going, he could be £100 million player or more. You know, 18-year-old striker. He's scored 7 goals in about 5 starts. So would bringing in Jose Mourinho stun that youth growth? Well, on the flip side, again, now you could say Jose brought in Scott McTominay last season at United. You know, he is changing a little bit in his approach. You never know, but that, you know, those are the points against him. So for Jose, good communicator, more charismatic, defensive minded, proven winner. He can attract superstars and he can work with Mesut Ozil. And against Jose Mourinho, is he toxic? He's insulted the club in the past with the specialist in failure comments, and he could potentially stunt our youth growth by bringing in superstars, which might block that pathway. Those are the arguments for and against that I could come up with. Let me know if you've got any other points that I didn't cover here. What do you think of Jose Mourinho as Arsenal manager? Would you want him in? If so, what, January? Now? You know, summer? Like, how would you feel about that? What point would you want him to come in? And yeah, just let me know what your points are for and against Jose being manager. I'm very curious to hear what people are saying on this. There's a lot of mixed opinions out there. So that's going to be all from me today. French Gooner. And I'm out, people.